inefficiencies was not my win rates, not the losses I was taking. It was the profits I didn't actualize. So that's why I was kind of focusing on that. So your approach is
for me
you have
was
your
the
final
opposite.
target
For
and
me
you have
was
your
the
trailing.
opposite. Basically, I took profits too early because I didn't let it run through, and still the previous trade I had was on Walmart. It was like a CFD stock, right?
Yes.
I took it on all prop firm accounts. When I look at how far it went, actually, now after I took profits, I was like, beep, right? I could have held that trade much longer, right? But I went out because fundamentals told me to go out. I was overvalued, which was the best way. But then I saw price railing further, and I was like,
Is what
but
it
it's
is.
but it's what it is. That's also trading, by the way. That kind of, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm like, in general, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm kind of never really happy. You know, you either take profits too early or you take profits too like you're kind of never really happy with what you achieve. Somehow in the moment you're like, okay, I took profits, great, but afterwards, if you cross-check the chart and if you look where price went or what you could have done better, you're like, maybe here, maybe there. You know,
so
like
I have a few mantras or sayings that I repeat to myself all the time that give me this level of comfort that I have reassurance. And I'd be interested if you have any of your own. But one of my strong ones for that exact issue is I always say to myself, a restricted trader is a profitable trader. Meaning, we've been vlogging this week with the boys, and and as you know, I've been giving signals on Twitter for this is the 11th
and
week.
it's great, yes.
So I've been there was position today and position yesterday. Both of them were like tick, 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 tick. Good setup, 1x. But that 1x is an important cross. Like it's an invalidation criteria. And in the end, both trades played to my full target.
But you didn't take it
And
because
I didn't take
of that
it.
1x.
And I even gave ahead of time, I'm waiting for this, but I'm not going to take it because of this. And it still played. Now,
That's great. No.
when people saw that on Twitter, they were like, I took it anyway, la, la, la.
Yeah.
And as I said, look, a restricted trader is a profitable trader.
Yeah.
I didn't take it, not because I didn't feel like it. It was, I had something that invalidated it. And today it was correct, but tomorrow it could be wrong. Day after it could be wrong. It was there to protect us. So I've always just been comfortable knowing that my protection mechanisms, even if you took partial, but it kept going, it's fine. A restricted trader is a profitable trader.
No.
Do you have any in your head of like important cornerstones or ways to ground yourself, sayings, let's say, that you're telling yourself?
No, I think but I can fully relate to that, and I have a similar approach. Obviously, for me, it's like people, or like I had to learn, or everyone has to learn, not to be in a position. I think it's more difficult. I think it's more difficult not to be in a trade versus to be in a trade. You always want to feel that kind of adrenaline kick. Right.
Okay, so I want to ask about that because for me, I have two currency pairs and that's all I'm looking at. So I have my key time windows and I have my two pairs and I have my technical reasons. And because I'm trading on the lower time frame and so forth, I can have 5 opportunities a week, which is quite a lot, I'd say. But on your perspective, you have any asset class from stocks to commodities and so forth. And I'm sure there's times where you have an abundance of opportunities where a lot of your fundamental leading indicators are saying opportunity on these 10. How do you
Not really, actually, because my rules are so strict
it's
that
really
all
specific.
super specific that all stars align trade. You find sometimes there are like 2 weeks where you don't find a trade because they're so specific.
So
I really
used to sitting
so
without
if you look at and I've showed you, by the way, right? My FX book verification in the last 6 months on that $1 million account, I didn't have a loser, right?
Yeah, which surprised me. Yeah.
my worst trade, and I'll post it as well, and I can show the screenshot. Everything, it's like $50, right? Was my worst trade, so it was a break even trade. So my criteria, it was so super strict that it's actually hard to find a trade. But for me, I feel just better being right versus like that one off, one on, one off, 2 off, 1 on. It's just for me, it just makes me personally feel better with my trading, and that's why I just made it so super strict that it's really quote unquote difficult to find a trade, but still you find, like, because we have so many markets to look at, 1 trade, 2 trades per week on average, that when all stars are aligned, we're going to take the trade no matter what. But therefore we have to we cannot just look at, I could not just look at euro, dollar and British pound dollar, because then I would find a trade maybe rarely, 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay, so this is interesting. I mean, and correct me if I've analyzed it correctly. I am looking at 2 currency pairs, so my asset selection is low, but my win rate is also low. So therefore, I don't need that many stars to align. I need my stars to align, which is probably not as tight or restricted as your ones. So therefore I can still play the positive risk reward game with a lower win rate, 50%. Whereas it seems like your win rate is rather high. Where would it be, roughly 80, 70?
Well, yes, like around that.
Okay, so when you have a high win rate and you have a decent risk reward, but you're still maintaining good trade frequency, once a week on average, is that recuperated by having the ability to look at everything?
Yes.
And that's how you're balancing it?
That's how balancing it. Otherwise, I could not balance it, obviously.
Why do you not, just for the sake of argument, because you know you're doing a positive risk reward, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, and so forth, why not allow yourself to have a slightly lower win rate, controlled, to have, let's say, around the 60%, 70%, and have further trade frequency with a good risk reward to then kind of improve your equity curve?
It doesn't improve. Actually, I tried this before. Like, this is like, of course, this is like how I evolve as a trader, right? I tried like all these scenarios, and I feel like now this is the, like, for me personally, almost the end game. So where I like feel like super confident, right? Where there's hardly anything skill-wise to improve, where it's just about yes, letting your trade sometimes play out a little bit better and so on and so forth. And and of course the mental side of things, that is always, you always have to improve as a trader, or like you always work on as a trader, because the more we scale up, the more risk we take. It's always a new game, right? Because we have to get mentally used to these bigger numbers, right? So
is your goal to then continue kind of dominating the prop firm space and scaling with not just FTMO but other props and getting millions under management, or is that not your vision?
Yes and no. I have a clear vision, and I can also state that vision. I want to be the first 8-digit FX prop trader under management, managing 10 million. But I don't want to do this with B-book prop firms. We didn't now have that discussion because we talked so much about strategy, the nitty-gritty of strategy, and we lost ourselves a little bit there. But since I manage 4 million, 2 million is A-book, 2 million is B-book. So the A-book real money, B-book demo accounts, right? The demo accounts, the B-book is not sustainable for my growth, because I'm trading big capital and I'm getting payout after payout after payout on a monthly base. So this is not really sustainable, not for the prop firms, and then in this case not for me, for that prop firm model. So I would like to scale on an A-book side, of course, more. I'm focusing more on the A-book. Look, I could now go out, buy $4 million worth of challenges and do that, right? But the point is, like, half of these prop firms, sorry to say, they will not pay me out at the end of the day, most likely.
Have you ever had an issue with the payouts before, with the B-book prop firms?
Not, I didn't have an issue, but nowadays, since I have also a follower base on subscribers on YouTube, 20K, they behave, but they approached me as well, and we discussed. I told you that story where prop firms asking me for affiliate, and I'm not saying I'm not doing any kind of affiliate. I don't need affiliate, but I can give me your highest allocation challenge, and I do that challenge live on YouTube. Do these challenge documentary. I've done this before for True Forex funds and Funded Next. I can do that, and then they are saying yes, but do you actually, after that you pass the challenge, do you expect a payout? And I'm like, what kind of question is that? But, you know, and I get this, or they're asking this question, or they're telling me, well, we cannot max allocate you, but we can give you a 50K account. Basically, I'm sorry, I don't want to be arrogant, but 50K account doesn't mean a lot to me personally, you know.
No, it's cool to see that the prop firms are fearing you, that they're like, we'll give you an account, but are you going to make profit?
Yeah, exactly.
It shows also
that's why I say it's not sustainable for me, right? People don't have to worry who are trading small accounts, and, you know, it's like they don't have to worry with this. But trader who are consistent, like you, for instance, and you can get money, you can generate income monthly with a max allocation account. That's where you get dangerous for prop firms, for some of them, right? I don't want to generalize, but for some of smaller prop firms, where prop firms are one-man show, a lot of these prop firms are one-man show basically. So
it's a big liability to have a very profitable
yes,
trader.
Exactly.
When it comes to your, therefore, allocation targets, majority will be then A-book, I guess.
I hope, that's my goal. At least I'm trying.
So the cap in, I'd say, the prop firm space, I don't think I've seen anyone go beyond like $6 million. That's when you take every single prop firm and then max allocate and then even scale a little bit. What's kind of the upside, or on the A-book, how much funding could you actually get? And what are the conditions like?
That depends on my investors, right? On investors in general. There's actually, I cannot announce it yet, but there's another prop firm who will maybe issue me another $1 million in A-book. In A-book, cool, yes, cool. I'm in discussion right now. But the conditions is, and this is basically the condition to basically scale an A-book. You have to show consistency. You cannot be like that. You have to be slow risk, and basically trade like a hedge fund, right? Trade like a fund, responsibly, small risk. They don't want, like these A-book investors, they don't want me to trade on a 1 minute chart. They don't want me to lose 10K, 20K within a minute, right? They want to have that slow growth, that slow price movement where you execute on daily, weekly, and they're okay with that, and then show consistency over a couple of months. And this is where then they feel confident also, if you have the track record, if you have that kind of trading style, that they give you these A-book allocations, right?
Do you feel like when it gets to the A-book investors, and therefore it's real money and it's high net worth individuals and so forth, do you feel like there's a lot changing in the trading psychology, the type of executions you want to trade, the performance type you want to have, because they prefer not necessarily the upside, they prefer how much downside is there. They'd rather preserve their capital than really hugely gain. So when you are navigating an A book, whereas in the B book you have a reset, not really that many conditions, and do whatever you like.
You can do whatever you like. Nobody worries.
Do you feel like it's therefore a kind of a limitation for you, or is a great scenario, a great environment for yourself?
No, it's a great environment for myself, because then I can be like this role model to my students, where I can showcase consistency and see, hey, if you're consistent over a long period of time, investors come to you. They want you to trade big funds, right? Because they can benefit from that as well.
So I want to dig into this question from a technical perspective. I know you know technical analysis, and in your earlier days you were also learning a lot about it.
Actually, when I started off, like in my first 6 months, I was also trading 2 minute time frame, because that's to be fair, for me, that's the best way to get immediate response, right? To learn as well, because you get direct feedback. You get direct feedback from the market, whereas swing trading, there's like that feedback might take a long time, and people don't have that patience yet, and this patience you learn. But yeah, it's a great way to learn as well these time. And I started, learning on these time frames as well. Understanding price movement.
The lower time frame M1 specifically is in my opinion, is like so necessary from the way I look at the market, is because there has so many fine details in there. And just yesterday, the signal that I spoke about in the vlog, which failed, it was in a daily demand area. So a lot of people could have positioned themselves in that daily area and had huge upside targets. But the M1 revealed to me it was not ready and it was going to fail. So just noticing these details in the M1 protected me from a potential loss. And not only that, the analogy I give is you can watch a movie in 360p and you still see the movie. You can also watch it in 4K and see all these little details. But there's way more clarity and detail in this one, which is why I've preferred it. And also I'm aware that you have a technical base. You can go down to the lower time frame, not necessarily M1 because of the investors, but you can go down to the H1 or the M15. Why do you just choose to not bother? Maybe you could get a sharper entry, more precision, maybe time it better. Why do you just choose to stick with the daily?
That's exactly the problem, right? Where you have to find that fine line between, they don't want you, well, I don't want to get stopped out on a trade, so for me personally, right, and also for my investors, you rather take
high win rate setups,
high win rate setups, and the risk is for me always the same. It's like on a $1 million account, it's 10K, right? Whether I'm going to execute that on a 240-minute chart, whether I would execute that on a 60-minute chart, whether I would execute that on a daily chart. So my risk profile is always the same, but the zone gets smaller, so the likelihood of getting stopped out is bigger. Whereas I rather than say, okay, for me and my investors, the likelihood of getting stopped out should be lower and the win rate should be higher, and it still moves my way, if this makes sense.
Got it. Well, Bernd, I think we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 because there's so many details. And I enjoy speaking to you.
Me too, same. I really enjoy it.
Because you have a high level of knowledge, expertise. And I'm growing, but I feel like I've got enough knowledge where we can have a healthy debate and a discussion.
100%. And I love the discussion with somebody professionally like you.
Thank you. So I want to kind of end off the podcast with, we talked about the technical stuff and so forth, but my observation on you as a man and your journey and your life that you've created for yourself, it's very aspirational because you have a lot of time freedom. You have a level of financial and geographical freedom, which is strong pillars of freedom. But then also you're a family man. You're also helping people. So it's like, I think it's the role model image that you had, that you want to be, not only from your trading, but also from your life. And I think it's important when someone looks up to someone, it's not just what they've achieved, but what kind of a man and what kind of a life they have, because they both go hand in hand.
I appreciate
you can be
that,
fully into just financial pursuits, and let your family go, let your health go, so forth. But it feels like you're balancing everything.
It was always my goal from the very beginning. That's why I have this slogan, motto: set and forget and get alive, right? When it comes to trading, set and forget and get alive, right? For me, that balance and to have like
so talk to me about that, because after watching a few of your vlogs,
I only have two, unfortunately. I'm not as extrovert as you, but this is something I have to learn, and this is why YouTube is so great for me, because I'm really an introvert person, and I envy you, like how you were like an extrovert person, and I really would be like at some point also like more extrovert. But I think YouTube and social media is helping me to get more extrovert.
Well, it'll come to your surprise. When I was a kid, I was super shy. I was super nervous, super introverted. And I think through doing and being out there,
it's just learning. It's just learning. Yes, it's a skill. It's a skill as well. Yeah.
So just want to touch on what does your life look like? Because I know you're building a project in Koh Samui.
Yes.
You have your villa here in Dubai. So what's like a normal week look like of a real trader, let's say, that's doing it for over a decade and created almost a desirable life?
It's actually quite, like? It's quite boring, to be honest. So it's quite boring. So my mornings, I get up quite early, 6:30, because my daughter has to go to school. So we're all getting up at the same time, right? It's getting loud in the house. And but at 8, I'm leaving the house. I go to the gym. I do Muay Thai. And this is my morning. I need that me time. That's, that's important. I can work on anything like project related, my own business related for like 10, 12 hours, I don't mind. But I need every day, I need that me time for me. That's what I need, right? So in the morning, I'm like 2 hours in the gym, doing some Muay Thai, doing some normal conditioning work, gym work. So gym is part of my lifestyle. It made me what I am today. I really believe that, right? In terms of consistency, in terms of dedication, motivation, everything, right? Discipline as well. Like gym made me what I am today. I firmly believe that. And then I go, because we have an office in Business Bay, actually in the Opus. This is where we have online trading campus, our licensed investment consultancy, where we offer education. So, but the team is located there. Some of the team, I like to work from home, to be honest. I like to be close to my family. My daughter comes back from school between 2 and 4 p.m. So I actually like to be at home when my daughter comes at home. To spend also some time. We do some homework and stuff together. I do that, the math and stuff. It's getting already third class, already difficult for me, No, like super boring family life. And then I handle obviously our licensed investment consultancy. I handle projects like that Koh Samui project, that building that villa on Koh Samui, in Koh Samui.
On the beachfront.
On the beachfront. It looks. Thank you. Yeah, I always post the progress on social media. So like these basic things, and then my trading, our academy, right? So it's just these things, and this is my life basically, and I'm super comfortable and super happy with that life, that I have that freedom basically to do whatever I want to do, right? So that time freedom is like for me everything, right? Because I come from the corporate space. I know how hard it is, that 9-to-5 grind and not being flexible. And it's something that I basically were able to accomplish, not to have anymore. And I always wanted to accomplish that, and this was like my main goal, and I accomplished that, and everything else is icing on the cake. Yeah.
Well, I want to end then with a dangerous question.
Yes, please.
Hopefully you can give me an answer, because you mentioned the Muay Thai, and you are, a man in shape. You can fight. I've seen your leg kicks and stuff. You're a dangerous.
I'm still an amateur. Oh my gosh, right? Horrible.
Compared to the other people in the space, you're probably right up there. So I'm sure you may have come across the influencer boxing, like KSI and all these.
No.
They do like an influencer boxing.
No.
Whereas these different YouTubers, they just settle their drama or whatever. They just
no,
do a
never,
fight.
never, no.
Okay, let's say one day there's a trading influencer, now that you are becoming one, boxing.
Yeah.
Would you participate? And if you did, who would you challenge?
Oh,
it's a dangerous question. I need an answer.
Oh, that's a dangerous question.
I know in my mind who you're going to say.
No. Well, I'm not sure if you know who, and I'm not going to say the guy who faked my payout certificate. Actually, I would not challenge, like it's hard. I would only challenge somebody who has at least 1 million under management and at least like have some payout certificates, because otherwise, it's not worth my time, because everybody calls themselves, can call themselves a trader at the end of the day, right? So no, but if I had to challenge somebody, I would challenge the founder of ICT.
There we go. Let's make that happen.
That's going to